All right, y'all. Let's get it crack-a-lack. Let's go. Take off time. Hit that share button, tag a friend. You know what you gotta do, man. Get this room crack-a-lacking. Amen. We are in the building tonight. Original. From the home front. One of them shows. Right? You don't want to miss it. We are going to handle the business. What we do. All right? We're going to handle the business, people. That's right. Let's go. Get that room filled up. We got to come down a few rows tonight. Gotta tell the business of the people. And we told you, y'all, there are no more passes. All right? There are no more passes. All right? Bottom line, elected officials, hey man, I've been given the task. All right? I've been given the task to serve notice on African American elected officials that fail to do their jobs in this community and throughout this state. And you'll be called to the carpet. It's just the way it's gonna be. All right, you're gonna be called to the carpet. So you might as well not even get in your feelings or anything. The only thing you can do is straighten up and fly right. That's it. You're gonna have to straighten up and fly right. All right. So come on in the room. We're excited that y'all are here tonight. Hey man, we got some stuff we gotta talk about. Homecoming weekend is coming up. You had a full-fledged shootout downtown last night in front of name and faces, a high-speed chase and a shootout. You got Hines County election commissioner out campaigning, which is against the law. I'm not sure what Kadala Brown thinks about when she's out campaigning for Tyrese Jones in her capacity as a Hines County election commissioner. You can't do that, Kadala. And I don't know, maybe somebody needs to tell you. And if they won't, I will, all right? Got Tony Yarborough that I think because he couldn't get the money that he wanted has kind of bagged up from the Tyree Jones campaign. You got Leon Seals campaigning in his constable uniform. Can't do that. All around the city, all around the county, you see African-American people doing stuff that they're not supposed to do. And I don't know. Maybe they just don't know. All right. But it's my job to tell them. All right. It's my job to tell them. And let me tell you something, people. For 5 years, you know, they say it takes about 4 or 5 years for you to see your business grow. All right. Welcome to the room. It takes about 4 or 5 years for you to see your business grow, for you to see a profit on your business, things like that. And yesterday, Monday, made the 5th year anniversary, Monday did, for the first mix and mingle, meet and greet, cipher, get together that we had back in 2016 at the Pretty Unique. And I put up some of the pictures, and you had a very nice crowd. Very nice crowd. People came out, and I mean, we had law enforcement, and and it's just amazing that here we are coming up on this 6th year now, and now this conglomerate group of people have said, you know what, we're not gonna let you fight this race by yourself. You got the Socrates Garrett, you got the Dwayne Pickett's, you got the current mayor administration, you got the current DA, you got Leroy Walker, you got Reverend Crudup, you got others that have joined along and says, you know what, we heard you. You've been fighting the good fight. You kept the faith, and now it's time to band together and let's make it move. People, I don't know if you get it. I'm serious. I don't know if many of you get it. But it is the changing of the guard. You got WMPR 90.1, Wanda Evers, Mr. Sherry. 7 days a week, we on the radio. All right, you got the We Believe Digital Podcast Studio, getting the message out. You can't, people, we're on every media platform. We're everywhere. And it's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. If you think that it's a joke, you think it's a game, and I just want young people to know this is what happens when you persevere. When you stick to your guns, when you fight for a cause that you know you believe in, you know is right. Hey man, it's an old saying, old African proverb. If you catch on fire, somebody will come watch you burn. And I'm excited, I'm happy about where African American people are about to go in this community, all right? And I'm excited about who we're calling to the forefront, all right? The conversations that have been had with myself and other people of substance in this community that has said, you know what? No more. No more failed schools. No more fly-by-night superintendents over our districts. No more mismanagement of county funds or not understanding what's going on in the city. We are going to do everything in our power to provide you with the information so that you can make a just decision, so that you can have a place. Too many years have went by where our communities have sat in silence and went unrepresented. I have the utmost respect for Councilman Stokes for his, I guess, him being Mr. Stokes. But I can't respect his office of councilman. You've sat in Ward 3 and watched it deteriorate. You don't answer emails. You don't return phone calls. I mean, you get up, you have more press conferences than any other council member. But yet your ward sits in despair. Nothing personal towards Councilman Stokes. Nothing personal, meaning I don't have any ill odds towards him personally. It's just time that you pass the baton. Sit back and groom somebody else. Sit back and teach somebody else. Sit back and let somebody else with some ideas and some hope for the Georgetown community in Ward 3 to make the difference. Nothing personal against Councilman Banks. Nothing personal. I mean, personally, I don't care. One way or another, Councilman Banks doesn't add a dollar to my life. He doesn't take anything away from me. But he does hinder the life of the people of Ward 6. Nothing personal. But you're in the way. You're in the way. You're in the way of growth and development of Ward 6. Nothing personal against Vernon Hartley. Nothing personal. I don't know him. I just know he's got PTSD and he says anecdotal statements and he hates the mayor because he didn't put him back on the airport board. Me personally, nothing personal. other than you are in the way of progression. You're in the way of progression of African American people. You're in the way of progression of young African American kids that are growing up in West Jackson. We trusted you. We trusted you out the gate. We gave you a shot. And you failed. You failed. Your first duty, your first order of business for this city. And you failed. And for all alumni, whether you're Jackson State, Hines AH&S, rather you're Provine, Callaway, Lanier, Wingfield, Jim Hill, Merle, no matter what high school you graduated from, no matter what college you went to, there's no way possible you and I can sit here in this community where African Americans make up 89% of the population, where African Americans hold all the #1 seats for progress in the community. There's no way you and I can sit here and allow this type of buffoonery to continue to matriculate through our community year after year. Nobody never sounds the trumpet. Nobody never calls people on their on the report card of their work. We gotta start seeing a scope of work. Not gonna let people just do what they want to do. Leon Seals, you cannot campaign in a constable uniform. It's against the law, according to the state. Now ain't nobody else gonna tell him that. You got a bunch of idiots around you that don't know any better, that won't tell you. And then you have a bunch of folks that don't have sense enough to know that not only is it against the law, it's unethical. And then you wonder why folks don't need to be in position. These are the type of things. How can you be out here talking about running for a position and you don't even know how to run for it? You not following the rules that have been set by say. We already have a council of 7 individuals. 7. 5 of them African American. 4 of them African American men and 1 African American woman that will not enforce any ordinance that's on the books. I want y'all to hear me. You have a council of 7 people. 5 of them are African American people. 4 are African American men. 1 is an African American woman. And nowhere in either one of their wards will they enforce what they swore to do. Enforce the ordinance of this city, this state. They won't enforce them. That's why you have dilapidated buildings in your community. That's why you have houses that caught on fire 2-3 years ago, still standing in your community, people. Some in Woodley, some in Woodhaven, some in Shady Oak, some in Brown Bottom, some in Georgetown, some in Vernadisha. Because your council member is committing a crime day in and day out. When they go down to city council, they don't ride their wards, they don't ride the streets, they don't answer emails, they don't return phone calls. And they swore an oath to uphold the office in which they are now entering. And the state law is clear concerning city ordinances. Jackson has the same ordinances that Madison has. I know y'all didn't believe that. Matter of fact, after we looked at the records, me and Patty Passer, our ordinances are identical to Madison County. The difference is that the people that represent the constituents of Madison County enforce the ordinances. Here, your elected official won't even enforce them. He and she are criminals. But you go to Virgil Lindsay's ward, or you go to Ashby Foote's ward, and those wards that are highly concentrated with Caucasian people that usually vote conservative, those ordinances are enforced. Now you got to begin to ask yourself something, people. Y'all got to begin to ask yourself something. How is it that the ordinances are enforced in those wards, and not even in the whole ward, but just in those homes, in those areas where there is a high concentration of Caucasian people that usually vote Republican? And this is a Democrat liberal city. But inside this Democrat liberal city that is black ran, white Republicans live at a greater quality of life than the African American people. So then the question becomes, how is that possible? Well, I tell you how. Those councilmen and women that are African American that look like you, they vote along Republican Party lines in council meetings. In executive sessions, they vote to make sure that Virgil Lindsay Ward and Ashby Foote wards get the things that they need, and you go without. But what else do I have to say? And so you people that are sitting here tonight watching via Facebook or via YouTube, you live in this city, and you look around and you complain and you cry and you whine about why the city looks the way it looks, why the mayor won't do this, why the police chief won't do this, why so and so. Well, hey, I get it. I've been there, and you're right. You have that right. But then there's also the other part of the question: is why won't the community make them do it? Why won't the community force council's hand? Why won't the community force the hand of their council member? Why won't the community force the hand of their supervisor? The citizens of District 2 have within their possession right now, due to the hysterical acts of Supervisor David Archer, the citizens of District 2, as long as it's 50% of the elector votes, the people that voted for David Archer, have within their grasp right now the power to remove David Archer based on behavior. That we don't have a recall law, but we have a law that says that anytime 50% of the elector voters that voted a person in decides that this person is not fulfilling the duty in which they have been elected, then you sign a petition, you get it before the judge and the governor, and they, based on those 50% of those signatures, they have to remove that person and call that position vacant and have a special election. So then the question now becomes is, why won't 50% of the electors who voted in District 2 for David Archer, why won't they make the move? The power is in your hands. The paperwork is down there at the courthouse. All you got to do is go get it. Somebody got to go get it and start getting the petition signed. This platform has provided you with everything you need. We have a website that has every Hinds County Board of Supervisors phone number and address on it. I mean, phone number and email. All y'all got to do is email them, tell them how displeased you are. Tell Robert Graham, tell Kriel how displeased you are with Supervisor Archer. I with all of them. It don't matter to me. What I'm saying is information made available and you don't use it, that's called ignorance. And ignorance leads to apathy. Apathy leads to poverty. Poverty is a direct correlation of crime. We already live in an economic desert. Jackson, Mississippi is a financial desert. It ain't no oasis. It ain't no place nobody running to come to do business. But yet, in pockets throughout the city, where we are where the minority is in power, you see pockets of hope. You see progression. You see manicured yards. You see neighborhoods with quiet streets and cars not parked everywhere. You see Caucasian women jogging and pushing carts with a dog, and you still be in Jackson. And you ought to be ashamed. And then you go across town to the zoo and you see the street blocked off with young African-American men walking with long rifles and holding the street up, burning rubber in front of the zoo and in front of Amazing Institute Church of God Christ. And we ought to be ashamed. We ought to be ashamed. We ought to be ashamed. Yeah, African-American kids that know how to put a gun on their side but can't fill out a job application. We ought to be ashamed. We ought to be ashamed. You ought to feel, well, matter of fact, you ought to feel just like the city looks. And now you have people all hyped up, oh, it's JSU homecoming, and I get it. Guess what? I saw the city out today mowing the parkway. They just now started to mow the parkway because it's JSU homecoming. You mean to tell me it took the homecoming for you to decide to keep the grass cut weekly along the JSU parkway, coming from downtown all the way up to the campus? You have to have homecoming before you decide to clean up your area. You mean the city of Jackson, y'all didn't know by now that you needed to keep the grass cut weekly, especially during the rainy season? And then you just seen them out there cutting it as high as it was, and they throwing it, and so now you're gonna have big hay bales all out there this weekend because they ain't doing no raking or no blowing off. So all those grass, all that grass they cut today is gonna die on top of the new grass, and you're gonna have big hay barrels out there. Just everywhere you look in this city where there are African American people, it looks bad. It looks bad. Everything around us looks bad. And then you got people like Constable Seals running for a position and doing wrong while you're running for it, not following the guidelines, not following the rules. You got folks like Election Commission, Kadada, this your first term down there. You already been in a whole bunch of mess. You out campaigning as an election commission. You can't campaign. You can't publicly get out and campaign for nobody. You're an election commissioner in Hines County. You really at this point, based on what you've been doing, what I've been hearing, you really should be banned. They really need to strip you of your position. We cannot continue to allow this type of foolishness. We told y'all yesterday, nobody gets a pass. No, nobody gets a pass. I don't give a damn about you being Bo Brown, dog. What? Nobody gets a pass anymore. You go do right in this community, or you gonna get called to the carpet. How can you lead when the very walk that you're on is a walk of shame? How can you lead? I'm just saying, how can you lead? How can you lead? If you using false addresses, Larry White, if you losing a false address to run, and you ain't gonna win on no constable seat, I don't even know what you're in it for. If you paying $144 for a commercial, Leon, and didn't pay the rest of the money, How can you lead? I told you people this. I told y'all this from the beginning. I told you out of 13 people running for sheriff, 12 of them were incompetent. And 12 of them didn't have the finances or the know-how to be in this race. And that they were in it for selfish reasons. They don't care about this community. How can a Richard Spooner or Les Tan here, people that know they can't win without the black vote, how can you expect this community to respect you? Les Tan here done ran for everything except dog catching. Yeah, another David Archie. Richard Spooner, you know you can't win this race. Beverly Williams knows she can't win this race. Kalinda Green knows she can't win this race. Torrance Mayfield know he can't win this race. Leon Sims, and I don't care who in your ear. Dog Norman, the Suttons, I don't care who in your ear. You can't win this race. Tyree, you can't win this race. With all the stuff hanging over your head, wife done left you again, you got sex scandals out here, you got penis pictures floating around. Who you think gonna elect you to win to be this sheriff? Then y'all had a meeting last night, had a doggone debate at the Rotary Club last night. And you could tell that nobody on there know what they were talking about, except one candidate. Neither one of you ran a budget over your checking account. You ain't nobody in the race ran no kind of budget over their own checking account. And y'all want this African American community to take you serious. You think we supposed to just lay down because you go to Pilgrim, you go to Cade Chapel. Reginald Buckley can't endorse you. He got his own issues with his secretary. Tyrone Lewis can't endorse you. He got his own issues with beating on women. And you think this community is supposed to just lay down and accept that? Kalinda Green, we can't take you serious. Your name came up in the discrepancy of the Greta Bullitt case. Bullets missing, evidence missing. How you want us to take you serious? It's time out. It's time out in this community. That you think the stuff that you do, that you think the things that y'all do, you can get away with it. And then when it's election time, we go just say, oh, well. No. The Banchini case between Tyree Jones and JPD literally could have broke this city. Not could it literally have broke this city, but it caused more internal damage to the police department than any other case in the history of the city of Jackson. And then you have the audacity to go out and get the former mayor, who also the citizens of Jackson paid out a lawsuit for him for sexual harassment. And you think we just supposed to accept that? We just supposed to accept, Tony Yarborough, you cost us money. We supposed to just accept that? An endorsement from you? Think about it, people. Ain't saying we don't love her. Ain't saying we don't care about her. But we gonna just accept the fact that when he had the chance to do what was right, he did what was wrong. Is that the message we send to African American children? Is that the message we send to African American people? After all African American people people done had to go through to get to where they at, and then you get in power and you abuse the power? Come on, man. And you wonder why guys walk down the street with AR-15s and 223s and AK-47s and shoot up houses and smoke wet and do meth and dip in ice and everything else. Then y'all wonder why? We can't keep accepting that. When black people violate black people, they got to be held accountable by black people. There has to be a sentencing imposed. We got to make the Yardbirds remember we gave you a chance. You abused that opportunity. You don't get another chance no time soon. Come back 20 years from now. We might think about it. Tyree Jones, when you was the spokesman for JPD, you had subordinates up under you. You had people that looked up to you, that admonished you, that admired you. And rather than you taking that position and help elevating African-American women and other people, you look down on your constituents. You look down on your subordinates. You slept with them. You ran them in the ground, and then you use your inside connections to hurt women and to run them out of the department. And you think we supposed to just let that slide, Tyree? You think we supposed to just look past that? And anybody that stands with you and says, yeah, that's my boy, and know that's what you did at JPD. And let me say something, Tyree. You know you can't go back to JPD. If you don't win this sheriff race, you know you ain't got no time. What you gonna do? Go work for Tyrone? You publicly embarrassed your wife. You tried to make it look like I was lying on you, like I was talking about you. You know what you had going on with Shanika Bailey. You know Shanika Bailey had a fiance when you moved into her house. Everybody in JPD know what you did, Tyree. Then you turn around and one of your very brothers, you turned around and then had an affair with his wife. Everybody know that, Tyree. What this community supposed to do? Because you did it, we supposed to sit back and say, no, that ain't my business. We'll polo folk do it all the time. But you in leadership position. And ain't folks do it all the time. And if folks do it all the time, do it, make it right. Y'all want somebody to sit back, be quiet. And man, that ain't nothing. That's character flaws. Those are character traits. Those are character issues. When character is in question, there's chaos. When a man or woman's character is in question, there is chaos. Aaron Banks. Y'all heard it? Y'all seen the police report? Y'all seen the lie he told? Talking about wasn't nobody relevant. Didn't nobody know what they was talking about. I was spreading lies and rumors about the police had been to his house. You saw the police report. What, he held his wife hostage? What did he think? I wasn't gonna produce it? No, I'm gonna tell you what he thought. He thought he had paid somebody so well that it wasn't gonna never surface. But I keep telling you, I got a fly on every wall. I got to fly on every wall. Aaron Banks, he sat right there in the media and looked y'all in the face and said, Polo line. He ain't got nothing. He ain't reliable. He ain't got nothing on me. I ain't did that. And then there it is right there. I produced it. Because I knew that's what he was going to do. I knew he was going to lie. See, y'all was down there thinking I was playing when I was down there at City Hall. I set him up for that. I knew what I was doing. I knew he was going to deny it. And I knew all the time I had a smoking gun. But see, he had thought that the person he had paid to do away with that police report, he just knew it wasn't going to never surface. He just knew it wasn't going to never surface. But then there it is. Now him and his wife. You don't know who to believe. Well, I tell you what, you can't believe now one of them. They both liars. Him and his wife, both liars. Ain't no secret. This ain't the first time. 11 times the police been called to Councilman Banks' house. In 5 years since he been a council member, 11 times the police been called to his house. That's a character flaw. But then he'll stand up in front of the cameras. He'll say what's right and all of this and try to sound right and get on the radio and try to make y'all believe. But then there the evidence is right there. Why he ain't talk about that? If you transparent, if you honest with the people, tell the people, hey, I held my wife hostage one night. Will y'all forgive me? But then he stood up in church and had a bootleg preacher tell him to take the bootleg oil into the doggone city council, that he was the new oracle, he was the new face of the city. And he sat up there and jibber jabber, should have got a Hyundai, but I got a Nissan, acting like he was speaking in tongues, talking to the devil, because he is the devil. But the Bible clearly said that Satan is the father of what? Lies. I ain't told none yet. I've been exposing politicians for the last 6 years. For the last 6 years, we've been exposing corrupt politicians. And many of them African American, because that's who our problem is with. Our problem ain't with the white man. Our problem ain't with the white man. The white man ain't betting against us. He already got his imps. He got his Aaron Banks. He got his David Archer. He got his other people in place. He got his Vernon Harlins. He got his Kenny Stokes. He got them ones that he said, I'm going to pay you a little more to keep your foot on the neck of your people. Keep giving them smoke and mirrors. Keep giving them hope when all actuality you really don't want them to have it. Make believe they going somewhere. Look around in our communities. They look a mess. Matter of fact, a whole 2 years ago, Councilman Banks.
A lot of the negativity, I think the news being some of the problems. I don't mind debating. I talk to anybody on the issues. If there's something that I haven't done right, or something that campaign manager. You know who that person was?
Yeah, you were Tyrone campaign manager.
For the municipal election.
Oh, you for a municipal election?
Yeah. So I was running for mayor. I was doing everything I can.
Tony, yeah.
No, sir.
You said 2016?
Yeah. Before the election in 2017, I was running somebody's campaign. I still got all the information, got the commercials, I got everything. I was hired as payroll. As a campaign manager. We had an office over there in Funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know who it was?
Yeah. You said y'all had an office in Fondren?
Over there where the old Y was.
Oh, wow.
And he was running. We were gearing up. We worked about 7 months putting everything together. I had the research. I had everything where he could win, and he was going to win if I was continuing to run his campaign. But he decided not to run. And it wasn't long after that I decided to run. I'm surprised.
You gotta hear me. My memory just I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think back while I was in the race then.
It was 0-1.
I just said it had to be Leroy. That's the only person I know.
It was 0-1.
But I thought he pulled out before y'all even got the campaign up and going. I thought he decided he wasn't gonna run.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, yeah.
We did an initial vote, and it was kind of hard to digest. But the polls are report cards. You look at them and you say, you know what? There's a path. There's always a path, but this is what we got to do.
Oh, yeah, it's a path, too.
Yeah, and at the time, he just decided, consider this, consider that. And so he decided not to run. But I said that to know there is no way in the world that we will walk in and Aaron Banks will be running against each other if I decide to run.
Oh, I don't think Leroy gonna run though. I don't know. He said he don't want it. I asked him on the show. He said he don't have no desire for it.
Yeah.
He got a year to change his mind. If something changed, then I'm sure he'll let me know. But at this point, he ain't said nothing. I can't divulge anything that I know because I don't know anything. But that he told me he not gonna run.
Yeah. And I talked with my wife, talked with my father, about being on the show. We just do things like that.
I understand.
And part of it is, my wife decided, I don't want she doesn't. Maybe I want you going nowhere where you're gonna get beat up. And people, I said, maybe doing and saying some of the stuff he's saying to get my attention and get me on that.
Well, Doc, I'm not out to beat you up. I have a commitment that I made with my platform and my organization to this community. I answer 200 to 150 emails a day sometimes from people throughout your ward, throughout this whole entire city. Okay, I'm not naive to the fact that I had the people's ear. I don't take that lightly. I don't come on to try to assassinate anybody or nothing like that. But at the same time, the people want accountability. You, I, or anybody else, even though I'm not an elected official, I chose to serve the people. And so if I don't do my part, I'm guilty. Right. So, my demeanor and my personality is just what it is. I've always been that. You know that. Rather it was preaching or whatever. That's just who I am. Now, I'm not going to change that because if I change that, then I lose what I got. I know how to interview you without being disrespectful to you. You still a public servant. You still my homeboy. And like I told Tony, when me and him had the same talk, at the end of the day, Avery, if I mess up and you call me and say, Polo, you wrong, and hold me accountable, get what I gotta do. Respect that. And I gotta move on. You know what I'm saying? And when we get to that point as brothers, as men, as whatever, we gonna be a better community, man. I can't dodge nothing. nothing. You can't dodge it. Because at the end, man, eventually, we gonna have to own up to whatever it is, bro. That's just the way it's got to be. I mean, we in bad shape. You know, and I know, off the record, me and you know that this community is in bad shape, bro. And it ain't been governed right. Now, that's just the truth, man. That's just the bottom line truth. Now, do we want to do something about it? That's up to us. But you know, I can't, from my standpoint, the people that I have behind me, the sources that I have behind me, the team of people that I have, I can't sit still and not say nothing. That's not what I've been equipped to do.
Hold on 1 second. Somebody keep calling me over and over. Y'all know what they do. Hello?
I'm still me.
See, I keep these receipts, y'all, for when people be lying like I ain't never came to them one-on-one. I keep these receipts just for this.
Give me 5 minutes to turn my wife call.
Go ahead, handle your business, man. Handle your business. And
she can blow me. Give me 5 minutes to turn my wife call.
Understood. All right.
What I would like to do, you know, and let me tell you, bro, I ain't got no problem with you or whatever. My thing was, you know, at one point, you know, people were saying banks were paying photos to protect the men. And, you know, that ain't never been the case. Yeah, but we know that. Yeah, but it was being seen. And then number two, you know, I don't like to feel like that, you know, somebody is, you know, out to defame or to antagonize or bully me into interviewing with them. I understand that. That's about, you know, the ask and, you know, and we'll set those times. But what I would like to do, because there's some things that misrepresented, I want to actually take time and you can come to my office. I want to pull all the ordinances, the books, the minutes. I want to pull the ordinances that I have sponsored. The Clean State School Zone Act, which was 2 years ago, which was saying that one of the reasons I wrote that ordinance is opted was because of Sykes Park and Wilkins Elementary, which I opted, which said that the city must make an emergency authority to address nuisance properties within, you know, a half-a-mile radius of that school. You know, that was one of the reasons I wrote it. You know, but to go through the history, and we won't be able to read through all of that with yourself, but you would have already seen it. Okay. So I have already talked about it, and then also just to even, you know, when you talk about the glass weed, that was one of the things that I was always dealt with understandable. And you know, when it comes to that, the governance of the council is when it comes before the council. When it comes before the council, people reported in 311. The planning department, our code enforcement officers, lighted up before the agenda. It comes before the council. The council votes on it and declares a nuisance. Once it's declared a nuisance, then they go out and they notify the property owner, and then they take them to court. After they take them to come into court, and it's deemed, you know, a nuisance at community court, then the mayor's office puts it at committee. The police contractors go out to bid to do it, and then it comes back before us again, and then we roll it to the end. But here's the problem. The problem is by the time it comes back to us, the grass is blown up more. There's no debris put out there. It doesn't come on the problem. You understand what I'm saying? I already know. You know, now when Soccer could have put it on it, it was 10,000 to tear down 4 months ago. Now it's 40,000. Now it's 40,000. I expect them to do it for the same price. So that process needs to be streamlined. It needs to be streamlined. And, you know, as it goes to judges, because we have to have a judge, a municipal judge, to hold community court, or to actually have the court. You know? So let me ask you this, though, why are we not doing it? So the Keita told me, talking about the
funding ain't there. So how do we have a department? This is what I'm saying. How do we have a department that is supposed to be enforcing codes for this city to maintain this city, and that funding is not in that department? How have we fallen that far down the loop? He couldn't tell.
So first of all, you know there's a backlog for about 1,800 properties. Right? So when you look at I'll show you these case numbers. When you see these case numbers that say 32, 951, 20,
and then you go back to 2020.
It's a backlog. And so, when we talk about the funding mechanism, there's never been enough money to deal with it. Now, one of the conversations, the real conversation we got to have is, first of all, Joe Lewis was one of the best code enforcement people we ever had. Exactly. We got more properties torn down. Exactly. We had more stuff done. Second of all, things seem to work a little bit more better when it was under the police department, because the police department can really enforce. So now we got two code enforcement officers. You got a young lady and Mr. Bunson that coached about, Mr. Bunson. And so we have to prioritize that, within our budget. We have to prioritize that within our budget.
But we supposed to have 12.
Huh?
We supposed to have 12.
Yeah, we should at least have 7.
At least 7. But at least 7. Yeah, but the guidelines call for a city this size to have 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what I would like to do, man, is sit down with you. All right, you come to office. I'm gonna line everything out. All right, and we discuss it. You get to all the clarity, you answer all the questions, and then you would have seen, because I might pull up all these orders. I'm gonna go back before I came in office in 2015. You know what I'm saying? And pull up, but the object is to come see it. I'm gonna pull up some examples every day so we can go through it line by line. And then when we have the somewhat interview or whatever, then you can say, I've seen it, because if we went that route, so man, it'd be 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I understand. That's cool. We can do it like that. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem.
Right. So we'll reach out, man. I'll reach out and see when you can go. What's you looking like tomorrow?
Tomorrow is gonna be tight, and Wednesday is gonna be tight because I got Dorsey coming Wednesday, and tomorrow I got another person that I got to go interview to try to. They supposed to come on the show next week, so I got to kind of go down the road a little bit and talk to them.
Yeah. We can have a conversation and have a meeting and then just schedule the show to be whenever.
Okay, yeah. Let's shoot for like Thursday. Thursday I'll probably be free. Or Friday, anytime after 8 in the morning I might can swing by. We can go over and, do some lunch or something after that. And I mean it's work on your schedule. You just hit me. I know tomorrow I won't be able to do it. I know that. But you can give me a shout back if you freed up either Wednesday. I mean, if you freed up Thursday or Friday, we can do that. We can shoot for the top of next week. It's up to you.
All right, cool. I'll hit you up Thursday.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
Yeah, I heard. I can't make this stuff up. I don't have no reason to make it up. I really don't, man. I don't have no reason that you not go beat me for my brain. I'm gonna beat you for yours. Every time. I've been holding that on banks. I got so much stuff on banks, it's just unreal. Now you heard that candid conversation we had. You heard how he said he felt like he was being bullied into coming to give an interview. Man, you were a city council member. What is it? What is it? This is the question y'all got to begin to ask these people. They'll go everywhere else. They'll talk to folks that they can control the conversation with. Why they won't come talk to me? Why Tyree won't come talk to me? Why David Archer won't come talk to me? Why Malcolm or any one of these other people? Why they won't come talk? Kalinda Green, Beverly Williams. Why you won't come talk? Anybody. Ain't many gonna sit in this seat, man. Because they know I already got what I need. Listen, when you sit down, I already got everything I need on. Now, you either go be a man or a woman and own up to it and tell this community, or explain to this community, because I'm not going to be interviewing you based on what you don't want to answer. My grandma always told me, don't listen to what's being said. Listen to what's not being said, because that's who you really dealing with. The people that try to hide stuff from you, that try to divert you to another line of question, that's not the true person, folks. That's not the people we need in office. We need the folks in office that will come in and say, you know what? This is what happened. Yeah, well, right there, I slipped on this. You know, and I'm gonna say this. I think a couple of weeks ago, somebody tried to trick, and well, I ain't gonna say she tried to trick. I just call it like it is. I think Wanda had a question for Marshawn. She said, I want to know why Marshawn voted to not put my daddy's name on the airport or something when he was a councilman. And it's important that you know what you're talking about when you ask them kind of questions. And Marshawn was just as candid and clear. He said, well, Wanda, is not that I didn't believe he deserved it, but that the folks that was going to put his name on there at that time had inflated the price just because it was Meg Evans. Now, somebody done gave her a bone to run with to try to make it look like it was something ugly, when the whole time, I don't think Wanda had a clear perception of what really was going on. But she asked the question and she got the answer. He didn't dodge the tough question. He said, listen, I was a council member at that time, and my vote wasn't based on not putting the name up there. It was based on the price that they was going to charge us to put his name up there. You see the difference, people? You see the difference. You see how it weighed different. But if you're not mindful, if you're not educated, and the way that question was presented, it would kind of look like, well, this brother was against civil rights leader. And we know that ain't true. We know that ain't true. But what I'm saying is you have a lot of that in this community. You have a lot of misinformation. Folks that want to sound relevant. Folks that want to sound important. Folks that want to sound like they civil rights leaders and activists, but they ain't got no homework. They ain't got no report card. They ain't got no receipts. You don't see no pattern throughout their lifespan of where they stayed on the battlefield, hammering after one subject after another till they got the results they need. You see a lot of folks just bouncing around from here to here, there to there. Man, we done wrote the script on everybody. We done wrote the script. That's why I got a lot of respect for people like Pastor Pickett. That's why I got a lot of respect for the Socrates Gary, the anti-Lamumas, because I've given them hell. I've given them hell. But they were men. They came and they sat down in back rooms, and we crossed our legs and we folded our arms and we looked each other eye to eye, face to face, said, I didn't like what you said, Polo. You could have gave me a chance to say something, but it wasn't a lie. I just didn't like the fact you said. I didn't like what you did, Sock. I didn't like what you did, Anton. And from there we said, hey, well, you know what? I tell you what, I believe we can do more together for our people than we can do apart. I believe if we just be honest, we can do more for our people than we can do apart. And a lot of y'all mad about that. You mad about the fact that we're able to come to the table and do what men are supposed to do. Right there, you saw me. Man, I've been calling Aaron Banks. See, that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, it's not a person down there that I ain't got a fly on. It ain't a person down there that I ain't got a conversation tape recorded on. Virgil, Ashley. The only person I might not, no, I got something on him too. I got a recorded conversation on Vernon Hartley too. It ain't a council member sitting down there I don't have a recorded conversation on. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just the nature of the beast. I play at a high level. And I've given Banks and I give everybody the chance to set the record straight. So when Banks be sitting around here acting like I'm trying to belittle him or beat him up, brother, I've been talking to you. Y'all heard the conversation. Banks sat there and lied about code enforcement and listen, y'all heard it himself. He said we supposed to be having community court. Now listen to me, citizens. Y'all should be raising hell about that. Ask them what judge is holding community court weekly, monthly, daily. So watch this. So it's a code enforcement officer somewhere in the city of Jackson being paid to do nothing. There's a code enforcement officer somewhere in the city of Jackson being paid to do nothing. We ain't having no court. You got a council member, and I guess that's why they take bribes, because they being paid to do nothing too. You got council members that are not enforcing the ordinances. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard what he said. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up, man. Citizens of Jackson, Mississippi, especially African American men and women, you nor I can afford to sit silent not one more minute, not one more second. You can't afford to miss not one more PTA meeting. You can't afford to miss not one more school board meeting. You can't afford to miss not one more council meeting. If you can't be there in the flesh, look at it on live. Take notes. Ask questions. Something you don't understand, call this platform. Reach out to us. You got a problem in your community, call us. We coming. We cannot afford to sit silent. Period. Pastor ain't doing his job, let us know. We calling him. You can't have church in our community 52 weeks out the year and take money from poor black folks and not put it back into this community. Your church can't continue to do that in this community. You got to be held accountable. What institution comes to the African American community, takes money out of it every Sunday, and doesn't put it back in there? You can't keep doing that, Pastor. You can't keep doing that, Bishop. I can't sit back and let you keep robbing our people with a religion. Who am I? What kind of man would I be? You got teachers sitting up at JPS. We just sentenced a man to 40 years in prison because somebody at JPS didn't do their job. As a matter of fact, I heard today they just sent bus drivers home. You ain't even got bus drivers for your children. Some of y'all already know that. Everywhere you look, where there is a large percentage of African American people, we doing a subpar job at taking care of our community. I was on the phone today with a friend, and she was sitting in the drive-thru at McDonald's. And she said, she's on the phone talking to me. She said, I sure hope I ain't got to wait as long as this last lady waited in line. And the woman must have had the mic on in the drive-thru at McDonald's, and she went to talking slick to the customer. She just didn't know what kind of customer she had, though. She got the business. But it proves to you that here you are, 30, 40 some years old, working at McDonald's, and that's fine if that's the only job you can afford. But you don't even have the decency to respect the folks at the drive-thru when they're at McDonald's. Man, listen, let me tell you something. We messed up. We as a people are messed up. We ass backwards. Our children are lost. Our schools are lost. Man, you got 13, 14-year-old boys walking down the hallways with purses. You got teachers, male teachers, wearing high heels to high school. And the kids calling him girl. Come on, somebody. African American children being taught by a male teacher with heels on, and they calling him girl. You think they'll let them teach their children in Madison? Do you think Madison County School District will let a black man walk in there with high heels on and teach their children with his toenails painted? But we will. We will. We don't care. 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 We don't care about how they look. We don't care about the effect it has on boys. We don't care about how our black young girls look at that and see. We got work to do, y'all. Tomorrow morning from 10:30 to 12 p.m. Pick and Polo Show will be on WMPR 90.1. Please, man, please, sir, make sure you tune in. Then we'll be back on the radio Thursday morning. Back on the radio Friday morning. Back on the radio Saturday. And back on the radio Sunday evening. People, let me tell you something. The people that are in this, the funds that are being put up to keep you informed, we ain't playing no games. We ain't playing no games. We're not turning back. We're going to turn up. Council members, supervisors, pastors, preachers, teachers, tax collectors, lay people, deacons, Sunday school teachers. I don't care who you are. If you in leadership position in this community, if you are African American person, let it be known. Let it be known. I'm coming. And I got help now. I got help now. You can't hide. You couldn't hide if you tried. You couldn't hide before, but you sure enough can't hide now. We go expose, we go uncover, and we go deal with you in such a way that this community gets what it deserves. And it ain't failure, people. Listen, keep it locked, man. Tune in tomorrow morning, 10:30 to 12 on WMPR 90.1, 100,000 watt station for the Pick and Polo show. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from the We Believe Digital Podcast studio, if the Lord says the same. As Erma would say, if the creek don't rise, we'll see you in the morning. It's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's key 20 to the most out. Signing out. Church.